my last little video I spoke of Tolstoy. And Tolstoy is famous, of course, for Anna Karenina and for War and Peace. But some of his best stories are found in his little stories, his little parables that he wrote towards the end of his life. They had terrible titles, like How Much Land Does a Man Need? How Do You Please God? Like, they were just too instructional in that way. He should have just left it at the story. But one of my favorites, and this would be the Reader's Digest version of How Much Land Does a Man Need? Once there was a man somewhere in the steppes of Russia who had great land and great barns, but he wanted more. So he rounded up his local thugs, and they would go and drive people off their land and take more and build bigger lands and bigger farms and more kingdom for him. So he comes to this one village, and the mayor of the village came up with a way to perhaps drive him away or change his mind. Instead of fighting him, he said, I'll make a deal with you. However much land you can walk around from sunrise to sunset, but you have to be back here at the start before sunset, you can possess and have. And so this rich man thought, hey, this is the deal. And so he off on his way, and he headed off in one direction in the morning. And he ran, and he ran, and he ran, and he ran. He ran several miles. Then in early afternoon and towards supper, he ran the other direction. He ran even farther. He was getting a long ways back from the starting point. Then about 4:30 or so, he runs in this other direction. And he gets himself a long ways back from the start, and he realizes he might run into trouble. So he's really running hard this time, really running hard. And he notices, as he's heading up the big hill, ahead of him about 400 yards or so, is the starting point. And he sees the sun just going down, and he thinks he can make it. He feels a pain within his chest, but he runs and he runs and he runs and he runs. And he gets right there, about 3 or 4 yards away. He collapses and dies just as the sun sets. The mayor turns to the people around him and says, how much land does a man need? Oh, about 6 feet long, 2 feet wide, 6 feet down. How much land does a man need? By Tolstoy.